Hello ladies and gentlemen, I am PANCZASU and I'm here to discuss the state of Endless Space 2. This is a video series a long time ago I mentioned I would like to do semi-regularly whenever a big update comes out for Endless Space 2. Now you might be surprised by hearing me saying that because as you may or may not be aware, the latest update, update number 1 for Endless Space 2, came out weeks ago. Many weeks ago in fact, and I did not make any update video on that. Why? Because that update unfortunately had some pretty much game-breaking bugs, and I decided to not cover it because I was like, oh surely they will be fixed soon. They didn't get fixed for a long time, and then they were fixed, but actually a new bug was introduced which also broke the game. And this version we're playing right now is a hotfix that came out shortly before Christmas, I believe. At which point I was like a little bit too busy to make a video, unfortunately. So here I am now, making a video. Now, what was the issue that I had with the previous version, the game breaking bug? I mean, a lot of you know about the endless pending turn button, which thankfully is fixed now, so that's no longer the case, and you can freely play Endless Space 2 now without any problems like that. The problem I had in the past was of a different nature. When we go into the technology screen and we have a look at this little thingy, cultural flexibility, which allows you to take over systems within your empire's influence area over time. That over time thing might as well not exist. All you need to do to buy it out is pay 1,000 influence, which I have different problems with that I'll cover in a second. However, the biggest problem was that, let's say, that the enemy attacks and conquers my system of Rhea. Because the system is within my sphere of influence, I could instantly get it back. Instantly. No influence cost paid. At least that's how it used to be in the past. The problem is I cannot recreate the things that... I cannot recreate this back for the very simple reason that I cannot... that with this new faction I always seem to conquer systems that I have within my sphere of influence anyway. I'm hoping that I will be able to test this out on those cell phones later on, but I'll post an update about that in the comments. Right now I just want to record a video and upload it as soon as possible. Still, I was not able to recreate this bug just yet, so maybe it's kind of fixed. And it wasn't really a bug, it was more like an oversight, because the system is meant to let you capture systems in a pacifistic way, but in the past it used to mean that nobody can ever conquer any system that is not within their sphere of influence, which was kind of dumb. But I think it was fixed, at least I hope so. Either way, I'll update you in the comments. Now let's talk about the update in general, not about some old bugs that are not interesting to us in the least. I'm here to comment about the update. I'm not here to tell you what was added. If you want to know what was added, just go ahead and watch Amplitude's video. It was very good for that purpose. I'll link you in the description. I'll just cover all the changes and tell you what I think. So first of all, the biggest change was the addition of United Empire, for which I'm so thankful. And in fact, just to celebrate the addition of United Empire, let's have ourselves a battle with a lot of fairly good looking United Empire ships. I can update some ship. I don't know which one, but I'll do it because I bet it's gonna be awesome if I do so. Anyway, let's go ahead and have a fight while I talk a little bit about why I'm so happy we get to see the Empire. I don't even actually care what kind of strategy I go for. Those guys always go for sniper. So I'll go for extra evasion, I suppose. Why not? Then again, where's my big ship? Oh, those are my two big ships. Alright, I like it. It's good enough, I suppose. Then again, this guy is in long range. No, we cannot have a long range. Anyway, sorry. I'll let you watch in a second. As soon as the battle loads, which unfortunately takes a while. But again, things like this are to do with improving the game's stability, which will come in later patches. So don't be surprised to see the game sometimes take a little bit of a while to process some actions in later game. After all, it's still in alpha, I would like to point out, and it's still much better than most full game releases I know. So yeah, just saying. Let's not talk about that. Let's talk about United Empire. To me, they were the most iconic human faction in Endless Space 1. And in fact, not just human faction, just the most iconic faction in Endless Space 1. And the reason I'm saying this is, if you go back to the lore of Endless Space 1, you'll realize that almost every time there's some kind of story about something, United Empire is gonna be mentioned in that story more often than the Endless are. I'm not entirely certain if that's true. Also, this is so one-sided. I think they will run away. Anyway, The thing is, they'll probably run away. Anyway, the thing is, they were like the icon of humans for me in Endless Space 1, and I liked them a lot as well because they were kind of like not the usual portrayal of humanity, where it was like, oh yeah, humans are nice and they are very good and just cute and stuff. No, the humans. Oh yes, they are fighting. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I have a carrier. I have a father. Anyway, I'm sorry. In Endless Space 1 and now Endless Space 2 with the addition of Unit the Empire, we show that humans are very hardworking, but they are evil, kind of selfish. They are not afraid to take things by force if they need to. And that's... oh boy, I love the carriage. And that's certainly well shown. I love the carriage so much. I'm sorry, I'm such a bad person, but I love being evil. My ships are also getting hit. Oh well. I don't really care too much. They deserve it if they let themselves be hit. Either way, I wish it would show a bit more of my carrier, but auto camera is auto camera. So, first of all, low reasons why I like United Empire, but secondly, it's also other reasons why I like United Empire, because previously I was really afraid that the Unplayed Studios would be more willing to include voters with the game rather than United Empire, because let me tell you something, Unplayed Studios love voters. They absolutely adore them, at least most of them do. So I was kind of afraid that we would have to see the voters for the sole reasons that they love them so much. And also, to be honest, community also really likes the voters for reasons unknown to me. The problem is with the gameplay aspect, because the voters are also always kind of totaling, but also scientific faction. We have a scientific faction, they are called the Sophons. And as for turtling, I don't believe that turtling should be a mechanic that should be encouraged in a game. Not, at least not early. If later on Endless Space 2 gets some expansions or whatever, or DLC, or anything of the sort, then sure, bring in the voters. I don't mind, I don't like them, but I don't mind. Besides, I need a faction to hate now that the Pilgrims are actually only a minor faction, so I cannot hate them with full glory of my hatred like I did in Endless Space 1. Sad times are ahead. I cannot hate them. Oh well, I'll find somebody else to hate. Still, I believe that United Empire are a much better choice for gameplay reasons, because United Empire focus on two things mostly: the factions, the Senate, not Senate, but parties that they started with, that being the militarists and industrialists. And while we did have the addition of militarists in the form of Cravers, obviously, but they are also focused on industrialism, and let's be honest, it's me that made them this way. They are meant to be mostly industrialistic. When we have a look at population details, you can see that quite clearly. Yes, they do like evilness, because they're humans, but they also care about a lot about industrialism and just profiteering, I suppose. So they're very nice gameplay enrichment. A very nice gameplay enrichment faction. The problem I have with them is that they're so overpowered, it's crazy! At least in this current version, and that's my personal opinion. Now, I know a lot that the subject of overpoweredness is always a very popular one, and people like to jump into conclusions and say this faction is overpowered, this faction is underpowered, and whatnot. And my opinions almost always differ from the opinion of everybody else. And I mean, let me say this. I don't want to sound like I'm just completely dismissing or everybody else's opinion. People often give valid ideas as to why they believe certain factions are overpowered, but I tend to trust my own ideas when it comes to that myself, because I just have a lot of experience in Endless Space 2. Let's just put it this way, a lot. And I also am kind of used to implemented games, so I kind of feel like I know where things are gonna go when multiplayer comes out, but of course we don't know that yet. Multiplayer is not in, so my speculation is a little bit meaningless. Still, I like to speculate, because it's what I do. Now, the problem with the Empire, that I'm trying to talk about but I fail miserably, is the fact that their ability is extremely strong. Let's have a look at Empire as well. So, you get extra influence per industry spend. Alright, you may be thinking that's not a big deal, after all, influence is worthless, and it kind of is in this patch, in this version at the very least. Or you can release influence foyers to like individual candidates, things that have to do with election. Either way, considering how much influence you usually get, it's not a very big deal. And what else can you do with influence? Not a whole lot. You can do some trading, assuming you're not at war with everybody like I am. But that's about it. However, United Empire has also been given a way to use influence, and that is a very big deal. Let's have a look, see right here. Let's say I well, I don't have the resources right now to just use up all my Hyperion, but let's say I want to make a Corvette. And that's a problem because I can make it instantly. Let's say I want to make a lot of Corvettes, and look at this! I not only have the option to buy it out with Dust, I can also buy it out with Influence. That is such a powerful ability because all of a sudden, this useless resource that we used to have, that, let's be honest, it really was useless for most factions after early game. In early game it was useful, but later on it never was. But now, suddenly, United Empire has a use for it, and it's a very powerful use indeed, because they can just buy out a fleet all of a sudden if they need to, or buy out a structure, or buy out or whatever, and they don't have to use Dust for it. They can save Dust just for the bank to make sure that they don't run out of it. And it's a very powerful ability. Not to mention they can also buy out Science with Influence. Let's say I want... What am I researching? Personal foods? Not a problem. Got it. And I'm in a new era. Very simple, very powerful, very wow. Now I do love, in fact not just like, but I love the idea behind this ability, but it needs to be toned down. Or alternatively, instead of toning it down, United Empire need to be given some kind of debuff in some other way. Let's say that their influence stays the way it is. And I like it. Let it stay as powerful as it is. Let them make entire fleets purely because the Emperor is so mighty and he has a beard and looks kind of like Santa Claus in his younger days if he shaved his beard a little, but only a little. Trimmed, rather. That's who is commanding our empire. I love this ability actually, no matter how overpowered it is. But let's say we should... but I still think we should balance it out somewhat. I'm kind of afraid to balance it out by weakening the ships of United Empire, because they are kind of militaristic and they need to do so. They need to have a powerful military. But maybe something else, maybe something that has to do with their nature of United Empire. Like, let's say, revolts and stuff. Let's say that they are an empire that should have very big problems maintaining high approval rating. Right now, I definitely do not have any problems maintaining high approval rating, which also has to do with the Amazing Scales bill, which is one of the most powerful laws in the game, by far. Still, they should have some problems with maintaining public order, that's all I'm saying. So just, you know, they're not as incredibly powerful to play as. Also, the other thing is, as United Empire, it's very easy to blow out your sphere of influence, and as such, you can very easily take over the enemy systems using, where is it, this technology, which is, again, very, very powerful. So that's what I think about the United Empire. As for the other things included in this update, well, I do believe that the Manpower has been revamped. I might be wrong, maybe it was like this in the past, but I never covered it really, so either way it's a good thing to talk about it. Personally, I really like the system. It now gives you a decent amount of flexibility in setting which kind of troops you want to have. You can also improve them and whatnot. I wish there was a little bit more to do in the script, but still it's definitely not bad. Although, I think it could use a little bit more variety when it comes to evolution. Like, obviously, the main thing in Endless Space 2 are the space battles, but having more elaborate ground battles, more interesting ground battles per se, would be nice. Instead of like just flat out upgrades, I would love for my tanks to like spray fire on enemy infantry, or for air fighters. Well, they can speaking do drop bombs, but I wanted to do something cool. I don't know what. Let's say, I really have no idea. Just some cool things. It's easy for me to say, I don't have to invent them, I just have to criticize Apple for doing so. And by the way, it's not criticism like, oh, how dare you do something bad. No. I love Endless Space 2 already, alright? Let's just get it out of the way. I love it, I have a lot of fun with it. I keep playing it, even though I probably shouldn't. Actually, why I shouldn't? It's what I can do in my free time, that's exactly what I should do. So never mind, I'm doing a good thing, I'm playing a game that I enjoy, and I love it. The reason why I'm being so critical is because I care for this game and I want it to be the very best it can be, so I think it's justified. As for other things, well, you can now talk with minor factions to get quests, just like you could in a Legend, although those quests are so far very basic and very easy to complete, but obviously that is gonna be changed in the future. Anything else I should talk about? Well, there is the addition of Marketplace. The only issue which I didn't think about is this save file which we're playing right now is where I've been testing things out. I've been doing things that I would not usually do. For example, in terms of technology, I never actually got the technology for Marketplace, or actually for traversing the space without using, let's say it differently. I never unlocked the Frigate Movement for ships. So that's something I always got in every single one of my playthroughs, and I realized, hey, I'm teaching you guys things, I should experiment a little bit, and it turns out I don't actually need this thing. Warp drives are so cliche, I'm just using wormholes, and they're good enough. Obviously, warp drives are amazing. Let's not forget that. They are really amazing, and I think that in most cases you should get the update, but you don't need it per se. But that's just minor observation I made on the side. As for the last thing I should talk about when it comes to this update is that now we have Era 4. And here's the elephant in the room. Era 4, the most boring of eras up to date. There is nothing interesting in here whatsoever. The most interesting thing we have is doubling the recovery rate of heroes, or maybe the ability to colonize gas giants, or actually, hold on a second, none of this is actually really interesting. All previous eras had something interesting in them, like new ship type, or new kind of mechanic altogether, like a Blight Casimir effect, or something else entirely, like ability to negotiate with minor factions, or the extension of trade routes, something! And Era 4 has nothing of that. But again, we're in alpha, this has just been update 1. So I wholeheartedly expect this thing to be changed, especially since Amplitude Studio is working on a rework of the entire science system altogether, so I would not be concerned with that whatsoever, but I still felt like I needed to cover this bit in this video. Alrighty then, 16 minutes, that's been long enough since I was only here to talk about my feelings about this update. Obviously, a lot of good things happened, but unfortunately, they were kind of hidden away by the fact that there were some pretty bad bugs, but thankfully, because we discovered those bugs, or abuses, as you could call them as well, we can be guaranteed that those things will not be an issue in later updates, which is a very good thing indeed, and I'm personally very much so looking forward to update 2, which will come out, I have no idea when. And even if I did have an idea when it comes out, I wouldn't tell you, unless it's been announced, in which case, oh well, too bad. Still, I haven't actually checked the newsfeed, I probably should have done so before watching this video. Anyway, thank you very much for listening to me cough. It was PANCZASU, also known as the Mighty Mig Spammer. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you online.